course.
Okay, go ahead. Start over.
From the beginning?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So how important was Harold's work in the community? What drove him to be an activist for change in Chicago?
And I want to definitely say, thank you all for honoring such a great man. And it's not just a loss for me, it is, but it's a loss for humanity. It's a loss for society. It's a loss for thousands of people here in Chicago and all over the United States because his work impacted so many. So, but thank you for that.
Of course. What drove him to be an activist for change in Chicago?
I think it was in his DNA. Honestly, since I've known Harold, he has been about really looking at the inequality. So that's a big deal for him, like it is for me. But he lives, he's every day. Harold was about inequalities and trying to find solutions and ways of challenging the system or institutions and economically, politically that impacted on the lives of people. He absolutely wanted it to be fair game where people had opportunities to improve the quality of life.
Perfect. And how did you meet Harold?
I met Harold while I was with the Chicago Urban League as the director of the Male Responsibility Program. And I was working with young black males, and Harold was doing his work. Economically, he was working and, he had jobs, but everything that came out of Harold's mouth was about, family. It was about the youth. It was about the community. How could we deal with youth violence? How can we deal with the economic apartheid? He would look at the religious community. He would critique them. He would, sometimes chastise them because he wanted, well, regardless of what your title was, regardless of how much money you made and all of that, were you serving the people? Were you making a difference for the people? So if you were not, he called you out. Harold was straight with no chasers.
Perfect. What are some of the things Harold was able to accomplish in the community before the virus hit him?
Harold was doing so much. He had 1,000 projects. It appears he had so much going on, but Harold, everything. Most recently, Harold, it was something going on with homeless people here in Chicago, and Harold paid out of his pocket the porta-johns so that they could have a place to go and use the toilet, etc. But Harold was there was projects for women that Harold sponsored. I can't think of the name of them, but honestly, the man had so many things going on. Young people here in Chicago, Harold created this, you might be familiar with it, but the auditoriums. And when he would go in to speak as a motivational speaker, mentor, he looked at some of the auditoriums and they were not in good condition. So he spoke with the young people. He said, you know what? You all can fix these seats. You could paint this. You could do all of this work inside this auditorium. And guess what? They got jobs fixing auditoriums, learned the skill set, young people. So this man was a farmer. He was a businessman. He was a mentor. He was a motivational speaker. He was a radio personality. And above all of that, He was a family man. I think the thing that gets me the most, that touches me the most, is that he loved his family. But this is something that, excuse me, excuse me, but this is something that people don't know about Harold. He had a young girl, and I'll say this, every night his daughter went to bed, she waited on Harold to get in, to put her to bed. And his son Nehemiah, who's a senior and applied for law school this year, he's home like everyone else, but he graduates this year. But every night, Michaela, Harold put her to bed. That broke my heart. I mean, his wife, Monica, the love for her, but his son, just like him, Nehemiah. But that little 7, 8-year-old girl, Michaela, I swear to you, after doing all this work as a community activist, all this work as a businessman, making sure people ate every day, this man made it home to put that baby to bed every night. That runs chills inside of me. That breaks my heart. Man, we losing a man, just a man with a divine, golden, beautiful, giving heart. That's what we losing.
Sounds amazing. Sounds like he was an amazing man.
Oh,
really breaks my heart.
He was one of the most amazing human beings that I've ever met. And I know people all over this city and country, but I promise you, I don't know, when it comes to this coronavirus, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why Harold on Easter Sunday, on the resurrection day, I don't know why a man like him, that his voice was ringing loud in the city. He was the voice of this city of Chicago. There's other radio stations and people on the air, but people wanted to hear what Harold Davis had to say because they know Harold was not going to lie to them. They were going to get the butt naked truth. That's the name of his show, The Butt Naked Truth. And you got that. He didn't take no prisoners. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't water it down. He called a spade a spade. And he was a humanitarian. It didn't matter your color. It didn't matter your religion. It didn't matter your nationality. It didn't matter your ethnicity. All it mattered was you were doing something to make a difference in this world. And that's Harold Davis.
Wow, I think that was good. I mean, it sounds amazing.
Well, I am so honored that you guys called because, when you get a man of principles. Now, there were some people that probably I would say all of them mourn people, but when you have a voice like that, some people not always happy because you call them on the carpet and you expose stuff. But, he wasn't just busy doing it.